With the season postponed for the foreseeable future right now, there is still some baseball news going on, and that news involves Noah Syndergaard. He has a torn UCL in his pitching elbow, and he will be done for when this season starts and maybe some of the 2021 season. He felt, from what I remember, he felt discomfort throughout the entirety of spring training, and they pretty much said, "Hey, the Mets training staff and all this said, hey, you need to go get it looked at." So he did, and yeah, he got a torn UCL, and now he needs to have Tommy John surgery. And that was always the fear with Syndergaard, was eventually he's going to have Tommy John. Because when he came into the league, he was one of the hardest throwing guys in the league, I think in 2015, and he's been able to avoid it. But this year it finally caught back up to him, and it really sucks for the Mets because Syndergaard's their second best pitcher behind DeGrom. Now you got with Syndergaard out, you still got DeGrom as your ace. Stroman will be your two. Michael Wacha and Rick Porcello and Steven Matz will round out that rotation. I like Wacha and Porcello. Wacha's iffy. Porcello last year was rough, but if those two guys, those two guys can play really well. If those two guys can perform how they have in the past, I think it'll be okay. I don't think they will perform how they did in the past, though. That's the thing. That lineup, that rotation's going to be very iffy. So when the regular season starts, it's going to be rough at some points. And the ground will probably get no run support because that's usually how those games go. But yeah, Syndergaard's out. Then it's DeGrom, Stroman, Walker, Porcello, Steven Matz. So that's not a great rotation, considering, like I said, you got Wacha and Porcello both starting. In an ideal world, you would only want maybe one of them starting, depending on how Matz does. But no, he's the earliest Syndergaard will come back is, I think, around April, May of 2021. So next season. He misses this one entirely. And that's. And you have all these players getting these surgeries late. Chris Sale, I believe, is also out for Tommy John surgery. That's also a big news thing. Red Sox are paying him, I believe, like $30 million this year, and that's completely off the books. He's not going to pitch, I don't think, this entire year. So that's going to be a real bad news for the Red Sox, even though Sale was not great last year. He had a very down year. And when you're looking at what they got to get Chris Sale from the White Sox, with the more and more that Sale is unproductive and getting hurt, the White Sox are looking like they want one more of that trade, even though Sale ended up winning that World Series in Boston. But without what am I trying to say? Without getting Sale and without getting other moves, they probably wouldn't have won that World Series in 2018 against the Dodgers. But no, I mean, right now Eduardo Rodriguez is their starter. Nathan Eovaldi is their two. Martin Perez is their three. Newly acquired Colin McHugh, free agent, used to pitch for the Astros, is their fourth. And Ryan Weber is their fifth. You got Eduardo Rodriguez, who started to break out a little bit last year, looking like a good lefty reliever, or starter, I believe he's a lefty. And then you got Eovaldi, who I don't really think did a lot last year. I think he was hurt. And then just the further you go down the line, it's like, it's not great. It's not good. It's average at best, I think, for this Red Sox rotation. So, and Sale will miss most of this year as well, along with Syndergaard. And pivoting off the whole Red Sox deal, let's get into their punishment from the commissioner's report from the 2018 season of them being alleged of sign stealing. Now, Manfred said, I believe mid-February, I think, that we're going to get this out before the end of the month, or at least before spring training was over. So, if we were in the previous world, it'd be tomorrow. It'd be the 26th of March. Well, that hasn't happened. And they're just kicking the can down the road. And now, there are bigger pressing issues in not just the sports world, but the world in general. So, I think we're going to have to wait for a more appropriate time to get our answer. I think they already know the answer. They have to know at this point, I would imagine. It's just letting everybody else know. Because, like I said, right now is not the greatest time to do that. To say, hey, the Red Sox were not found of doing anything substantial to cheat, or they were found substantial to cheat. But from what I've read, the whole cheating scandal with the Red Sox that are being alleged is not as bad as what the Astros have done. So right then and there, the punishment goes down if that is true. If everything corroborates, the Red Sox will not get as punished as bad as the Astros did. So, when will we get this? When will we be able to know what the Red Sox did, how they did it, if they did anything? When? I have no idea. I would imagine probably sometime before the season starts, maybe May, maybe June. And that's the other thing. We don't know when the season's going to start. So, that sucks. We're kind of just left in the open with really no sports in America right now. They're all shut down. They're all done. There is I believe the Japanese league is starting to kick up over in Japan. So there's sports out there in the world that are starting to play again. It's just not here. And eventually this will all subside and we'll get back to having baseball in the summer and every other sport in their respective time. But that's the end of it. If you guys liked it, press the like button. Subscribe down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Share this video with all your friends and buddies. And I will see you guys in the next video.